Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, praised Moscow's arsenal at Army 2022 and throughout worldwide military competition, claiming that some of its weapons are decades ahead of Western equivalents. Putin said he is prepared to sell these cutting-edge weapons to friends throughout the world and to increase military cooperation in emerging nations, as he praised Moscow's armament as being much superior and ahead of the competition. Moscow has close relations with Latin America, Asia and Africa, according to President Putin, who also stated that he is ready to supply partners and friends the most current types of armaments, from small arms to armored vehicles and artillery, combat planes and unmanned aerial vehicles. Make sure to stay tuned until the end to find out more. Hey guys, welcome back to Economy Expert. Today in this video, we'll be discussing the economics of the Russian army and more about it in detail. But before we head to our topic, make sure to subscribe to our channel Economy Expert for more such economy content. That said, let's have a closer look. Our people are proud of their army, navy and the defenders' professionalism and bravery. At the military event Army 2022, Putin stated that they had always protected the motherland's sovereignty and security while also bringing freedom to other peoples. Then he continued, and today, during a special military operation, our soldiers, along with the Donbas fighters, honorably fulfill their duty, fight for Russia, for a peaceful life in the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republic, and clearly fulfill all the tasks set, step by step, liberate the land of Donbas. Putin claimed that throughout the years, the Russian Army Forum had demonstrated its relevance and importance and earned a spot among the latest military expositions in the world. He expressed gratitude to Russian arms producers for creating superior, invincible weapons that are respected for their reliability, quality and high efficiency, and work for the triumph and technical and industrial growth of Russia. Promising models and systems that are future-focused and will decide the tomorrow of the armed forces are of special importance, according to the Russian president. We're talking about battle complexes built on new physical principles, high-precision weaponry and robots. Many of them are decades, if not years, ahead of their international counterparts and vastly outperform them in terms of tactical and technical capabilities, he said. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, also intends to head a great power in Eurasia that will compete with China to the east and the European Union and the United States to the west. However, the most recent research from the World Economic Outlook database of the International Monetary Fund indicates that Russia's economy produced products and services worth $1,647 billion in 2021, somewhat higher than the $1,610 billion it recorded for Australia. After the sharp decline in the ruble's value this week, Russia's economic production would now be considerably less valuable than Australia's. Geographically speaking, Russia is the largest country in the world, with 16 million square kilometers as opposed to Canada's 10 million. With 145 million inhabitants, it has a population that is 15% greater than Japan's and 70% larger than Germany's. The Russian Federation inherited from its Soviet antecedents a sizable and inefficient economy, with a concentration on heavy industries, a robust oil and gas sector, and the third largest holdings of arable land in the world. Additionally, a bloated state sector was left behind. These key characteristics have not changed. Russia is the fourth largest generator of energy in the world and the fifth largest producer of steel. It's the largest gas exporter and the third largest oil producer. It's the third largest wheat exporter. The Russian state's share of the economy was estimated by the IMF to be 70% in 2014, while more recent estimates range from a third to a half depending on how enterprises with state investment are counted. However, there is no rivalry or incentive for growth between the businesses held by the state and the oligarchs, and misappropriation of capital and corruption are rampant. The outcome is extreme inefficiency. According to the OECD, Russian employees only generate 40% as much per hour as US workers. Australia's comparable figure is 84%. Despite the allure of its energy industry, Russia is unappealing to international investors due to low productivity and markets that are distorted by unpredictable governmental interventions on behalf of oligarchs or on its own behalf. Foreign investment in Russia has always lagged well behind that in Australia. Due to the low value of the ruble in comparison to the currencies of other, more productive nations, the US dollar value of Russia's GDP is lower as a result. Travelers are aware of that. For instance, in Bali or US or Australian dollar may purchase a lot more than in Sweden. The alternative IMF measure of economic size evaluates the US dollar's buying power in various nations. The GDP of the Russian economy is calculated to be $4.5 trillion US dollars, which is just slightly less than Germany's 4.7 trillion US dollars. This paints a very different picture in the size of the Russian economy. When it comes to military spending, buying power is important. Russia, which has an armed force of roughly 1 million people and the fourth largest armaments industry in the world, spends 4.3% of its GDP on the military, according to figures published by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Only very tiny countries in the Middle East spend more of their GDP on the military, while the World Bank statistics indicate that Ukraine isn't far behind Russia with 4.1% of GDP. In comparison, the US economy only accounts for 3.7% of military spending, while China, while having a far larger economy when measured by purchasing power, only allocates 1.7% of its GDP to its armed forces. There have been several academic attempts to gauge military might in relation to economic might. The Composite Index of National Capability, developed by US professor J. David Singer in 1963 for the still active Correlates of War project, is perhaps the most well-known. This index was created using data on military budgets, military personnel, iron and steel production, energy usage, the overall population, and the population living in cities. It is created as a blend of military, economic, and demographic strengths. Such measurements of physical strength, according to well-known US expert Michael Beckley, overstate the power of vast but undeveloped countries. He argues that an economy's growth is just as significant as its size. According to him, a military with high-skilled individuals and cutting-edge technology will require fewer resources to complete a task than one with less skilled staff and obsolete equipment. In addition, the atmosphere in Moscow suggests that popular support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine is rising. Although the conflict has been going on for 6 months, Vladimir Putin's invasion force shows no evidence of sharing the same zeal. Instead, a substantial amount of the data suggests that Russian forces, who are now engaged in combat in Ukraine, and many of whom are imprisoned for refusing to participate, are becoming increasingly demoralized. The Levada Center, the only globally renowned independent pollster in Russia, has shown a modest increase in the proportion of Russians who support their nation's conflict with Ukraine. The statistical data, which was released on 1st August and was based on research done in late July, revealed that 76% of Russians presently support the military effort in Ukraine. US sources estimate that more than 75,000 Russians have already been killed or injured in Ukraine, while the actual number is still a closely guarded secret. Although other estimates are significantly lower, every credible foreign source agrees that Russia has suffered losses that are already in the tens of thousands. In an apparent effort to fill the gaps left by significant casualties in Ukraine, the Kremlin removed the age restriction for freshly recruited soldiers in May. Recently, recruiters have started visiting Russian jails and giving prisoners the option to enlist in return for amnesty. Putin's hesitation to formally declare war on Ukraine is largely to blame for Russia's present manpower shortages. He has referred to the invasion as a special military operation instead. Because of this, Russian contract troops are not required by law to fight in Ukraine and are thus free to leave the army at any time. The Russian government is taking more frantic steps to stop additional soldiers from leaving, as it is suspected that many have already done so. According to reports, their own commanders in the battle zone in eastern Ukraine illegally detained hundreds of Russian soldiers after they refused to participate in fight any longer. One Russian soldier said he was imprisoned in one written statement that The Guardian reprinted that he had chosen to quit fighting as a result of what I consider were the strategic and tactical failures of my leadership and the utter disdain for human life. As both Russia and Ukraine get ready for what many now believe may be a protracted conflict, low morale among Russian troops presents a significant obstacle for the Kremlin. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Do you guys believe that Russia will win this war? What are your predictions on the Russia-Ukraine war? Let us know in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and subscribe to our channel Economy Expert for more such amazing content.